Today on Ask Miyazaki, we talk about networking, how to connect with prominent people on social media, and how to destroy Instagram and Facebook. Bradley asks, what's the next social media platform idea to destroy Instagram and Facebook? Bradley, if you and I had the answer to this question, we would be very, very rich people a couple years from now. Now, I think that Facebook and Instagram, because of their size, because they have so much market share, it's hard for me to imagine that another platform could come in and destroy them per se. I do, however, think that they can have their revenue stream disrupted, and I do think that maybe another platform could come in and at the very least knock them away from their number one positions. For this to happen, the new platform has to have several characteristics. Number one, it has to have rapid, broad appeal. This means that it has to be attractive to a large number of people in a fairly short amount of time. Why? Because if it takes a while to ramp up to get enough people onto the platform, then what's going to happen is Facebook's going to notice, and at that point, they'll make an offer so lucrative that the founders of the new platform are going to have a hard time refusing it. Number two, the platform has to be forever ad-free, or, better yet, it has to generate revenue for its users. We know that in social media, we provide lots and lots of information, and the platforms sell that information to advertisers. The new platform has to think differently and basically sell that information to advertisers, but pay the users for that information. Imagine if you had a platform where every month someone got $5 or $10 or $20, people would flock to that new platform and give out the same information that they've been giving out for Facebook or Instagram or Twitter or anything else. Number three, the new platform, to be really disruptive, it has to have the capability to transfer all of your accumulated social media history to the new platform, and fairly easily. What I mean by this is that all of your images, your photos, your videos, your conversations from Facebook have to be seamlessly transferred to the new platform, maybe with just a touch of a button or two. Why? Because you want to feel comfortable that you're leaving behind Facebook, but you're not leaving behind all of your memories. And number four, it has to be able to interact with Facebook and Instagram so that you can continue to communicate with the people who haven't yet made the switch. This was the problem that Google Plus had. People moved over to Google Plus, but in order to communicate with all their friends who hadn't switched yet, they had to go back to Facebook. They had to go back to Instagram. Why? Because there was no way to interact with them through the platform. So, if this new platform has rapid broad appeal, it generates revenue for its users, it has seamless transfer of your accumulated social media, and it integrates with Facebook and Instagram, you have a winner that's going to massively disrupt this current system. Reyna asks, what is the best way to market yourself at a networking event? Reyna, I'm a big fan of applying the PERM method, plan, execute, reflect, modify, to help you develop a simple process that you can follow so you'll be more productive at networking events. So let's go through this step by step. First, before each event, you'll need to plan by figuring out who will be at the event and what your goals will be for each person that you'll want to meet. And then prepare yourself by connecting ahead of time on social media platforms like LinkedIn. Now, when you send your invite on LinkedIn, let them know that you'll be attending the same conference as them and that you'd like to connect here on LinkedIn in case you don't get to meet up at the conference. Most people at this point are going to be very cordial and they're going to accept your invitation because they're in promotion mode. They're hoping that people will watch their talk or listen to their sales pitch or visit their booth, whatever it might be. Now, you'll also need to plan ahead for what you'll say to them if you get a chance. So practice your elevator pitch or have a relevant question to ask or mention how you've put into practice something that you learned from them that you found in their article or their book or their video. And I know this might seem a bit too planned out, but I'd rather see you plan ahead than blow that one-time chance to make an impactful first impression because you weren't prepared. When you get to the event, it's time to execute. So you have to have confidence. You have to have energy. You have to put aside your worries about being rejected and go all in. Think about what you can do to provide value to other people that you meet, and you won't go wrong. Be sure to get names and email addresses and phone numbers and business cards so that you can be the one to make the next move after you get back from the event. And make sure that you follow up with each person that you meet. This is a critical part of networking that most people neglect. Once you're back from the event, before you even go to sleep, you should set aside some time to reflect. And you want to reflect on your performance. Consider whether you met your goals for the event. Ask yourself, how could I have done better? How do I think I was? How do you think I was perceived during the event? Did I feel authentic in what I was doing and saying? Did I really connect with other people? Finally, take what you've learned from your reflection and use it to modify your behaviors for the next event. Plan better, execute better, reflect better. If you apply this PERM method, the plan, execute, reflect, and modify, to your networking, I guarantee that your networking events will become more valuable to you and to the people you meet. Nick asks, what is the best way to connect to prominent people on social media for mentorship and/or advice? Nick, I think of two different groups of prominent people on social media. Those who have relatively small audiences on social media, and then those that have the huge audiences. Those with smaller audiences are obviously easier to reach because there's not all the chatter that's going on with those with huge audiences. So let's talk about those first. In any case, when you're trying to ask people for advice or ask people for mentorship, there are two important things. First of all, you don't want to make the ask until you've given something to them. How do you do that? If there's articles that you think might be interesting to them, share them. If they do something on LinkedIn or on Facebook, they make a comment or they share an article, then comment on that article. Do whatever you can to try to show them that you're willing to give as much as you can in that relationship. The other side of this is that it's hard for people to give you advice or to give you mentorship if they don't really know who you are. So at some point in that communication, you're going to have to explain a little bit about what you do. What I might suggest is find an issue in particular that you're dealing with in your workplace and let them know and say, because of your background, here's my background. And because of your background, I'd like to ask you what you might suggest that I do in this particular situation. In other words, don't give them kind of an open idea of saying, hey, here's my life. What should I do with it? Be more specific so that they can give you a quick answer and answer your question rather than just looking at it and thinking, I really don't know this person. I can't really give them advice. Now, when you're dealing with the group of people out there, those prominent people that have a huge audience, it's going to be much harder for you to connect with them because there's all sorts of other people that are connecting with them on a daily basis. For them, your best bet might be to wait until they're at a conference or somewhere else, but still, I would always try to make that connection as much as you could. Now, it might be that you have 20 tweets or 30 times that you're going to comment on something on LinkedIn. Eventually, hopefully, they're going to notice you. And then when you meet them at a conference, you ask an appropriate question at a conference, it'll all make sense to them. It's a difficult thing to try to get hold of those people that have those huge followings. But for those people who don't really have a large audience, it's really not that hard. It's just a matter of making sure that the questions you ask them are questions that make sense to them, and they'll try to answer. That's all for today. Thank you everyone for your questions. As always, I very much appreciate them. Keep the questions coming. Send them via Twitter using the hashtag AskMiyazaki. If you're not subscribed already, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss future episodes of Ask Miyazaki, Marketing Minute, or anything else that might come your way. Have a great day.